Alright guys, so back in the shop again. Had a couple things planned for this morning. Hopefully we'll be able to get through both of them. One of them is going to be just to get this blade cleaned up a little bit, polish the bolsters. That way I can get it in my display over there. I'm not going to be sanding on the actual handle. Probably just polish the bolsters up a little bit and get the blade cleaned up a little bit, some of those scratches out of it. So hopefully that won't take too long. And then I have an old timer I want to clean up. It's been sitting in oil for about a week now. I just want to get it cleaned up and get it ready to either put on display or trade or whatever. But before we jump into that real quick, I had done a sticker swap recently with Steve Moss over, you might know him on YouTube as Native Steve. So I got in his sticker today, or I got it in yesterday, but I was trying to wait to do the video, and he sent me a little card that says, "Thank you, brother, for showing me love and support, means a lot." Well, Steve, I appreciate everything that you're doing. Guys, if you're not following him, go check him out. Native Steve, he's an awesome guy, slowly building his channel and his collection of knives and stuff. But he also sent me this little Yeti, this little Sasquatch. So I'll be putting him up here with my other guys that I have on display, with my little army men and Jesus and things like that. So I appreciate that sticker. I'll have it up here in a little bit on my little wall of fame from all my supporters, other channels, all the knife companies and so on and so forth that I bought from. So we'll go ahead, we're going to hop into this one first. Hopefully it'll polish up the way I want to, being that we're just basically doing the blades and the bolsters. I'm going to start out probably around 1,000 on the bolsters with the sanding. Just try to get some of the scratches to be uniform. It looks like it was carried a little bit. Obviously there's some scratches and stuff on the blade, but I don't know how much it was actually used. Looks like they might have tried to redo the edge. You can see a slight difference in there, but overall it's still a great knife, still in pretty great shape. And it's definitely one that I wanted to add to the collection, especially with the rail splitter the other day that I picked up from Chuck over at Chuck's Knives. Then I have a 70s model electrician's knife. So 3 iconic knives, you know, throughout time. This one being the Whaler, and the electrician, and then the rail splitter. So I want to get this cleaned up, and I want to get it in there with the others. But again, guys, just going over it real easy with a 1,000 grit. I'll work my way up from 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000. I'm not going to make y'all watch all that. I'll go ahead and polish the bolsters out, and then we'll start on the blade. All right, guys, and just like I said, working our way up to 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, and now I'm finishing up with 5,000. One thing I did notice while I was sanding was there is a small crack that I was unaware about right next to this pin. I don't know if you can see it in there, that one small little crack there. And then there's also one small little crack right here. So I'll probably be filling that in here in just a bit. and getting it sanded out. But got those bolsters sanded and polished out. And then we're going to do the same thing on the blade using the same grit format, just because I'm not trying to take off a lot of material. Just want to polish out some of those scratches and get that polish back on there. So same thing again. Going to start out with 1,000 grit. We're just going to run it across that blade, all in the same direction. Hopefully I can eliminate the majority of those scratches, at least lighten them up to where they're not as visible. And so we're going to start like that and do the same thing. As you can tell, there's some scratches that are a little deeper right along the edge of the blade. Looks like where they tried to sharpen it or whatever. I'm going to try to lighten those up, but I'm not going to try to focus on it too much. I don't want to take off a lot of material. So I'll work my way up, 1,200, 15, 2, 3, 5, and when I get close to the end, I'll come back. All right, guys, and just like before, ending up finishing with 5,000. It's mainly just for polishing measures, not so much to take off a bunch of material. We just want to get the scratches lightened up as much as possible and get it to where we can display it and it have a nice look to it. I think that's going to be all right. Like I said, it's got a couple little scratches right there along the blade edge where it looks like they tried to sharpen it. But other than that, I think it polished up pretty nice. So that one will be going in my display right after I fix those little cracks. I'll probably fill them with some epoxy or some super glue and get them sanded out. That way don't have to worry about them splitting or cracking any further. So that's that. So we'll go ahead and get it put aside and we'll move forward. Now this little old timer, I've had it sitting for over a week. It was rusted shut. It was in pretty rough shape. So it's just been sitting in a little mineral oil bath for the past week, allowing it just to soak in there, maybe get into the springs a little bit and get some of that corrosion off. I mean, it's helped pretty good. As you can tell, there's a lot of trash in there now. So hopefully, you know, this thing will operate a little bit better and clean up nice. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the Dremel. It's already got some snap in it. Before, guys, there was no snap. It was just rust. We'll go ahead and hit the blades with the Dremel. Get off any of the surface rust that might be on there still. And like I tell y'all guys every time, be careful when you're around like the Delrin handles with the metal wheel. It can burn through or mar those Delrin handles, and you don't want any of that when you're trying to work on restoring a knife. Go ahead and hit those bolsters. off some of that surface wear. And then I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same process on the other two blades. Just going to hit them with the wire brush and get them cleaned up, and then we'll work on cleaning the inside. And might sand a little bit on the outside. I don't think it really needs it, but we'll address that when we get there. All right, so we got the blades hit pretty good with the wire wheel. I'm just going to take this little screwdriver now, run along those springs on the inside of the wheel, try to get any of this stuff that might be built up on there off, and then we'll probably hit it with a little bit of sandpaper here in a minute. And when I do this, guys, especially after it's been sitting in oil, I try to get the inside of the knife as dry as possible, because once you hit it with that sandpaper, all that sandpaper is just going to stick to it, and it just causes a mess. So I'm going to get it as possibly as dry as you can. And then I'm just going to take a piece of this. This is a 60 grit. It is a pretty rough grit, but I'm just going to run it in there just to clean up some of that buildup that's been in there for God knows how long. Sorry about that. I've got to order me a different stand at some point. This one is usually right in my way where I'm trying to work at, so. It's a lot cleaner than it was, as you can tell now. There's a bunch of sand left in there. Try to get all that out. So the best way we can do that is go ahead and get some of the CLP out. I'm going to go ahead and just spread it down in there. This stuff is awesome, guys. It's pretty affordable, but I like it because it cleans, it lubes, and it protects all in one. So I'll go ahead and rub some of that along the outside, along the back springs. And I'll take this, use that down in there with the screwdriver, just sticking it down in the springs and getting up any of that excess, all that extra sand and stuff that's stuck in there. Just try to get it all out. That way there's not causing any interference and fouling right there, trying to get right there where the blades are. Let's see. Yeah, so they're opening pretty good. They got some snapback. So, I mean, I'm not going to do really a whole lot more with that. I think it's pretty decent already. I will do this. Just add a little bit back to that. This is a pretty basic cleanup job, guys. One reason being I'm not a big old timer collector. I like old timer, but my preference when it comes to old timer is like some of the larger lockbacks or the single blades like the 12 OT, 194 OT. I mean, not real big into Stockmans and stuff like that, but this is something, you know, that'll be available for trade. I just wanted to get any of the main build up and stuff off of it. I mean, because it is a nice knife. It is a vintage old timer. I don't know if you can see the model there, but I'll try to put it right here. But yeah, I mean, it's a great little knife, great little old timer. It's just not something I really am big into collecting. I like the larger single blade, lock blade old timers, as well as the single blade like slimline trapper, the old timer trappers, more of those models. So this one will probably be, you know, something to go in with my growing stack of trade options and things like that. You know, so that's it. I mean, that's not a big cleanup video today. Just, you know, wanted to touch on a couple things, get a couple little things straightened up so that way I can get them off my shop table and over into my box of misfit toys that I have available. So if y'all see anything that you guys are interested in, you know, please just let me know. These are all available. Some of them have been fixed. Some of them are the way that they got picked up. As you can tell, there's another little old timer there. This one, it's a little 2-blade. Couple multi-tools, I think, in here. Got some Victorinox. Plenty of camp style knives and so on and so forth that are here. Another little Cabela's multi-tool. This here is Kent. Some of these have yet to be cleaned up. They still need to be cleaned up. This is an old camper. I'm pretty sure it's an Imperial. Let's see. It's an Ideal, actually. So this is one that still needs to be cleaned up. Let's see. This here is an Imperial. It's still got to be cleaned up. Some of these I just haven't really messed with. You know, they don't move a whole lot. This is an old Camillus. As you can tell, it's been used quite a bit. But other than that, the rest of the knife is in pretty good shape. But, you know, just some more that's got to be cleaned up that just sitting around. This one here, this is an old Saber. So tons of stuff just sitting in the box of misfit toys. Again, some little small Victorinox. This here is Ward's, which was put out for the Montgomery Ward's chain stores. It's a beautiful little knife. I think it's like a little cigar style jack, or no, actually I think it's a 3-blade. It's got a punch blade in there and there, so still got a lot of life left on the blades. These are just knives that aren't really into what I'm collecting, so they have made their way into the box of misfit toys over here. So this is a little Queen. Looks like a half Congress. I think this is 70s or 80s maybe. I'm not sure. So yeah, there's a few in here just sitting, waiting to be done something with. This is a little Imperial Camp King. This here is a Richards of Sheffield, I believe. And I think it was in relatively good shape when I got it in. I think it came in like this. I don't know if somebody else had worked on it when they had it or what, but I picked this up at a flea market or antique store or something like that. So it's cool little knife. I think this is a little Chinese knife. Couple old timers, both USA. This is a little Gerber. This is Portland, Oregon, USA. These are super cool little knives. Then I got, of course, a couple Chinese bucks in the faux stag. This one, I'm not real sure where I got this at, but it is Smith & Wesson Field Skinner. Nice little lockback knife. Got a Gerber. This is one of the vintage USA. I think this is the MP600, the blunt nose, or this is needle nose pliers. So that's available. Got this little knife. I don't really know where it came from either, but it's a little CRKT fixed blade. So bunch of knives just building up over there. Every time I get more in that I don't necessarily care for in my collection, that's where they end up, and they either get sold or traded, things like that. This will probably be one of the next ones I clean up. This is that Camillus that I picked up recently. The main blade is still pretty good shape. This one's broke off pretty low, but I'm trying to decide. I might end up trying to make it into a little spear point or another sheepfoot style blade. But that'll be for a future video. The video is now longer than what I was hoping for it to be, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you have a great day, great rest of your week. Stay classy, guys, and God bless.